I'm Dominic Patton. The thrill of street racing is all about driving fast and getting away with it. But it can be fatal for both racers and innocent bystanders. There's also another side to this underground sport, a movement within the scene to get racing off the streets. Tonight, we go inside the high-octane world of street racing, where you'll meet the people who race, the cops who chase, and all the players who live in the fast lane.
Go, go, go! Atta girl! Yeah! Ram, 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 and you're down the track.
Shut the car off, give me the keys.
It's after midnight, and the streets of suburban Toronto are dark and almost deserted. Perfect conditions for our man Billy, whose night of illegal racing is just beginning.
There's a cop right there. They're all over this neighborhood. Markham has a lot of police activity. See, it's a green light and he's just staring us down.
Billy is connected, respected, and tuned in to Toronto's illegal street racing scene. And tonight's staging area is a parking lot outside the city.
Tons of cars.
It won't. We just did it. It won't. Let's hold it. Come on, let's hold it. Hold it.
They're already here.
At all times, Billy's got his camera rolling. He's the scene's unofficial videographer.
I got a race for you if you want. Tell him to come talk to me.
He's also the go-to guy if you want to set up a race.
Where's your boyfriend?
I don't know.
I have a race for him. I got a race for you. B18A Turbo. It's okay, he's fast, like tied me pretty much. But you probably smoked that. That's some wonderful footage. I love that smell too.
Every night, there are more than 4,000 modified cars on the streets across Toronto. Tonight, 3 races on 3 separate streets, and this is the first.
What's up, man? Great to see you, buddy.
To be king of the street, you've got to master the quarter mile. Some do it in less than 13 seconds, getting up to 160 clicks. Isolated industrial streets are the arenas in which racers compete. And when Billy's not recording races, he's out scouting potential tracks.
This track I actually discovered late last year, about August.
What does the street have that makes it good for street racing?
This, for example, is a very wide street. So you have a comfortable drive down. You don't have to worry about the person coming too close to you. You don't have to worry about spectators. As you can see, there's a lot of areas where people will stand back. Yeah, buddy, you know what? All right, it'll start in 2 minutes. There's a lot of fast cars here, man.
A rare matchup is brewing. Cars and bikes don't normally race each other because bikes are so much lighter and have greater acceleration. But a racing bike's been challenged by a car hooked up with nitrous oxide, a chemical used by racers to boost performance to the max.
He's gonna race that bike for shizzle.
But before it happens, the cops move in, and everyone takes off.
There they are. Jesus Christ, move it, man.
Hold it aside, turn your engine off.
They stopped the cars, and I guess they're just gonna give us a hard time. Maybe give us some tickets. See what happens.
At the other end of the city, a different side of car culture. The legit side.
I think it's been the same way.
Shant Kittlari's car looks like it's ready for a race.
From the sensor, it's stuck.
Except Shant isn't a street racer. Not anymore, anyway.
I've grown out of racing on the street because I'm not willing to risk my future and get caught. I'm not willing to risk my life.
You saw me at the course?
Shant's part of a new Canadian racing series, the National Compact Racing Association.
I wonder if I went high enough.
It gives street racers a legal place to compete, the track. And for Shant, that's much better than the street.
I didn't like the fact that it was illegal and that there was always a risk being taken. I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught by the police. I didn't want to get caught by my parents. I really didn't want them to find out and be disappointed in me.
Shant is not alone in abandoning street racing. He's part of a growing movement within the community to take racing off the streets. It's both an ethical and a practical response, because racing on a track is safer. And also, why would you want to spend 10, 20 grand or more on your car only to have it impounded by the police? But there are more problems than this for car culture. For instance, looking around this parking lot, you might think it's full of nothing but street racers. You'd be wrong. A lot of these people are not going racing. They're just here to show off how nice their cars look. But that gap between perception and reality has created an image problem for car enthusiasts. These car club members meet every week in parking lots across Toronto. And according to them, everyone with a modified car is being unfairly lumped in with the illegal street racers. They don't like being constantly harassed by the cops, and they really don't like what they've been seeing on the news. So how do you think you guys are represented by the media and the police?
Poorly.
How so?
Well, if you came to one of our meets, sat around, you'd realize that we here from sometimes 8, 9 o'clock at night until 3 o'clock in the morning. We don't leave the parking spot. We don't go out, we don't race. And I understand why the media is focusing specifically on that. There are people out there that have chosen to go out and street race. We don't approve of that.
And what do you guys do to stop that?
Well, as best we can, we try and somewhat police our members. We can't control everybody. We try and police our members best. If any of our members in our club are caught street racing, they're out of the club. Not much else we can do about it. The police take care of the rest of it.
Or street racers can go to a place where the cops won't touch them. Montreal Senaire Raceway.
Power class, perfect.
The site of the season's biggest compact car event. All of it legal. Thousands of spectators. Hundreds of racers. And there's Shant, currently ranked 3rd on the circuit. But Shant's standing is in jeopardy today because something's wrong with his engine, and he doesn't know what.
I need to find someone who knows what Honda codes are. It's in a manual. Code book for engine codes. You know what code 7 is? Right now they're about to do the qualifying passes. So the time I get now counts as my qualification time. And there's 8 spots open to get into the finals. And I have to be one of those 8. I'm a little bit stressed out today, but my fun level depends on how well my car does. Today it's not doing so well, so I'm not having as much fun, but it's always fun to watch the other cars.
Shant's time in the quarter mile is 13.72 at a speed of almost 100 miles an hour. That's 1 second off his normal pace, but it is enough to qualify.
Garbage. I'm going to turn down the fuel.
His engine is still acting up,
900.
but he now has a couple of hours until the elimination rounds to try and fix it. Meanwhile, back in Toronto, Billy waits to discover his fate.
Any update on what's happening in terms of you pulled us over? I got some violations on my car. Windshield's broken, tires are pretty bald. I don't know if it's too low to be on the road, but there is some rubbing on either side. I won't say this obviously when he comes back, but we'll see what he has to say. Thank you, buddy.
This time, Billy's lucky. He gets off without a ticket. But this close call doesn't stop him. He immediately heads to the next race.
Actually, I'm gonna go straight down.
What are the unwritten rules of street racing?
Basic rules, if you're coming into a street race or a street racing street, look around, always be aware, be on edge, don't cause trouble, don't bring alcohol, don't bring drugs, basic things like try to keep the environment just street racing. It's illegal enough as it is. We don't want any extra stuff to make it more publicly a nuisance, let's say, right?
But to many, street racing isn't just a nuisance.
The three were in a red Acura, which police believe was in a high-speed drag race with
Police believe the 16-year-old was racing another car.
RCMP Constable Jimmy Ng died Sunday in hospital after his cruiser was T-boned in this Richmond.
It's a deadly game. And Trish Maharaj has had enough. Trish knows appearance is everything, and she's working to clean up the public's perception of her community.
We have influence, so if we use that influence correctly, we can create some changes and maybe have a positive impact on the industry.
Trish is the founder of 24 Karat Racing, an all-girl car club that explicitly bans its members from illegal racing. She bought her '95 Acura for $15,000 and pumped another $35,000 into it to make it exhibit ready. Her car, equipped with a passenger side PlayStation, is her addiction. Now, what percentage of your income goes into this car?
100% of my income goes into this car.
Trish has very personal reasons for hating the street racing scene. Last year, a friend of hers died in this accident that the police said was caused by street racing.
Having someone die around you, that's reason enough to stand out and say, okay, we got to make sure this doesn't happen again.
When we return,
Get out.
is there anything cops can do to get their message across?
Now here's a guy that has his car set up properly.
When 21C continues. In just a moment, could racing their cars on a legal racetrack ever be the same for these young thrill seekers? We'll be right back.
In the Toronto area, the police hold illegal street racing responsible for 19 deaths in the past 5 years, 4 in the last year alone.
And then what we'll do is use a PRP5 channel.
This summer, police forces around the city teamed up to form the PACER program. Their strategy? Blitz known racer hangouts throughout the season. Tonight, Constable Alex Lahadinsky is running the show.
All right, just be careful out there. We have officers out in all the different divisions and they're checking the areas where the kids are known to hang out. And if it gets busy, then we'll shut the area down.
What you're doing is you're now putting an 18-inch...
The street racing unit was started by Sergeant Brian Kenny. But its mandate, he says, isn't just to issue tickets to racers. It's to get them on side and educate them.
If I go into a parking lot at one of these venues, it's not uncommon for me to step out of the vehicle and be there for 3 to 5 hours just answering questions.
Now here's a guy that has his car set up properly.
They want to know how to modify their car and do it properly, and I have no problem with that. It's the people that you educate and they don't care. Those are the people that we run into.
And, as if on cue, one driver, in the same lot as Officers Kenny and Lahadinsky, decides to show off by squealing his tires.
Get out.
Step out of the car.
Get out. Oh, God, it got stuck. We were standing there at the parking lot at the Colossus near Western Road in Woodbridge here, and we heard tires squealing, and we saw this car, it's a 5-liter Mustang, burning his tires not once but twice. Problem is, there's a lot of people in that parking lot, and a 3,000-pound machine out of control kills.
The cops might have got their guy this time, but so far, nothing has stopped Billy.
It's 3:41 a.m. and we are now going to a different track, also in Scarborough. The track we were at did get busted by cops, and everyone just ran. A van just drove by with an old guy in it on his cell phone, and we're pretty sure he's calling the cops right now.
Fear of the imminent police arrival causes most of the crowd to bolt. But Billy hangs back. The motorcycle and the nitrous-equipped car haven't raced, and there's still a few minutes till the cops arrive.
Well, I'm gonna chill here till they reach.
This is one of the big car shows of the summer in Toronto. It's where people hang out and show off their prized possessions. And it's where Sergeant Kenny, off duty, is spreading his message. In its first year, the PACER program issued more than 2,600 tickets, but only 6 were for street racing, a charge that could lead to a 2-year license suspension, a $500 fine, or even time in jail.
Hopefully what we're going to do is be able to target the up-and-coming enthusiast and show them that, you know, there is a difference between car enthusiasm and racing.
But some car enthusiasts say it's precisely this difference that the police aren't seeing.
I think the police haven't made a distinction between the race crowd and the show crowd.
I use the duck principle. If it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, and looks like a duck, it's usually a duck. If it's a street racing looking vehicle, then eventually whoever's driving that car will race it.
I understand that they're trying to stop street racing, but stopping every single Honda or any type of done-up car because it's lower, it has the muffler tints, or those cute little lights on your hood is not going to stop street racing.
So what will stop street racing? One possible solution is here in Saskatoon. Staff Sergeant Aimé Decay patrols Saskatoon's 8th Street, the main strip where people go cruising, and until recently, racing.
You'd have 50, 60 cars in a group, and when there was an opening, they would race. Cruising on 8th Street was so popular that you could have several hundred cars in a certain loop back and forth on 8th Street. 10-5, 8th and Preston, white Toyota, single male occupant, I'll be 10-4. You know why I stopped you?
Yeah, I accelerated too fast.
Instead of a ticket, the driver gets off with a warning, and more significantly, an invitation to the local track.
So why don't you take it out to SIR and do it out there?
The local police and the RCMP teamed up to sponsor Street Legal Days at the Saskatoon International Raceway. Street racers are encouraged to take it to the track. If they agree but are caught street racing again, they're banned from the raceway.
The program is working very well. It has reduced the amount of illegal drag racing by about 60 to 65%.
One advantage Saskatoon has over a bigger city like Toronto is its proximity to a racetrack. Here, the track is only 20 minutes away. In Toronto, it's almost a 2-hour drive.
You think if there were if there was a track in Toronto, a lot of the street racing would just disappear overnight, that people would start going to the track?
Yeah. Not overnight, but it would happen, yeah.
Why?
It's safer, they're not going to get in trouble for it.
You're always going to have that contingent of people who want to do it because there are no rules. They've been told they can't do it, so that's enough to make a lot of people do it, and a lot of people are going for that bad boy image or whatever.
That was exactly why Shant stopped illegal racing. And now back in Montreal, he's ready for his elimination run. His engine is fixed. This is a race he needs to win.
I lost. What happened when I was changing gears, I went from 2nd gear to 5th gear, and there's no time to take it back out and go back to 3rd gear, so I had a really slow time. The other guy won. He's going to go on to the next round, and I'm packing up and going home. Come out next time.
Shant's day of racing is over, but Billy's night continues.
You racing him or you got a boogie? All right, go get him and then race, and then we're out of here. By the time the call gets in, you got like 4 or 5 minutes, so don't even worry.
With the clock ticking, the motorbike and the car try to squeeze in their race before they're busted. More than just bragging rights are at stake here. If they're caught, they could lose their vehicles and land in jail.
Yeah. Oh!
Surprisingly, the car wins.
Yeah, man. Holy shit. Fabulous.
Okay, you know what? Let's get the
Yeah. Home time. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow.
Billy and the racers beat the cops, but the night isn't over yet. Driving home at 4:30 in the morning, Billy gets pulled over for the second time.
How was the race tonight?
I don't race, buddy.
Oh, whatever. Hold on. You see how dangerous that is?
Well, yeah, I understand obviously the dangers of it. I'm not an idiot. A police officer can give me 15 tickets tonight. I still won't stop doing what I'm doing.
Your parents know you're into street racing?
Yes, they do. They don't condone it. They think, you know, obviously it's dangerous, but I don't think, again, they don't see what goes on at the actual events. Okay, thank you for your warning. Right. I appreciate that.
Again, Billy gets off without a ticket.
We'll be good. Okay.
We can't stop it.
So do you think there'll always be street racers?
Always.
We have to deal with the negative publicity. Deal with getting pulled over. There's really, other than like doing things like this may help, but overall, I doubt it.
I miss the show scene aspect of street racing. I don't miss racing on the street. I think I'm getting all my kicks out going to the track.
See you around.
And finally, Billy's night comes to an end.
I have to say one thing. If you're not hearing birds chirping when you get home, that means you left the races too soon. That was one night in the life of the underworld street racer.